Welcome to Between the Whistles. I'm your host, Joe Chap. Detroit Lions training camp was today. I was fortunate to go because of Angel Garza, which I want to give him a quick shout out. Thank you, Angel, for the ticket. I was really grateful for that because Lions hype is real, and there's a lot of people that are bandwagon fans that are jumping on the bandwagon. Now, I've been with this team for this will be my 10th year of Detroit Lions news. So I created it. I've been doing the content, and I have my Mayank now, and Tyler, and all those guys, Darcy and Russell, and I've been with this through the whole thing. Like I've seen Stafford years where they've been absolutely wasted. I've seen Matt Patricia's years where I just wanted to punch myself in the face. I've also seen times where the Detroit Lions had a good team and they wasted it. And deep down inside, I just couldn't buy in. Like I couldn't buy in fully. And today I'm here to tell you, like I've always prided myself. Let me just get this out of the way. I've always prided myself on not being a homer. Like if the team is bad, I'm going to tell you the team is bad. If the team is good, I'm going to tell you the team is good. If the team sucks, I'm going to tell you the team sucks. That's just the way it goes. And I know some people don't like it, but too bad. If you want another outlet where they massage your Honolulu blue gills and tell you that everything's pretty, go somewhere else because I don't really need to talk to you because you're an asshole anyways, Detroit Lions, I am more a believer than I've ever been of the Detroit Lions. And covering this team for 10 years now on Detroit Lions news, there's always been an issue with the Detroit Lions. Like I've always gone into a season and gone, okay, that's an issue. Like that's a significant issue. Like the year that they played the Cowboys in the wild card game and they lost on the picked up flag. That's what people mention. The reason that they lost that game was because they couldn't cover the pass. Like they were horrible against the pass, and there was one player in particular who gave up like I think it was Cassius Vaughn. He was like the leader in quarterback passer rating against. So if you passed against him, you're pretty much going to complete it 9 times out of 10. So that's where I kind of just didn't buy into that team. I knew that they weren't that good. And moving forward, like you look at the Detroit Lions, and I look at this team from two angles. When I went to practice today, I was going with an open mind. Okay, like I'm not gonna believe the hype of some of the beat writers. Won't believe some of the hype of the national media. I want to see it for myself. That's how I determine things. And when I looked at the Detroit Lions, I looked at them and I said, "There's a couple things that this Detroit Lions team does that I have never seen." Now, the first thing is today at practice, they did not have the best practice. Not at all. They didn't have a great practice. It was an okay practice. It wasn't great. But the expectation in that locker room is to be great. Like you could tell and on the sidelines that they were pissed off that they were even like they were having the troubles that they were having, whether it was David Montgomery fumbling the ball, whether it was drops, whatever it was. I mean, Khalif Raymond dropped a great pass from Jared Goff. David Montgomery fumbled the ball. It was literally stripped out from his loins. When they have the expectation that it has to be great every single time, you're going to be a good team. Make no bones about it, guys. You could look at teams from Detroit's past, the Red Wings, Tigers, Pistons. There's always been one common denominator. Okay, they have an expectation that what they are going to do is they are going to play their ass off and they are going to win. And when you have this expectation, it doesn't just come out in games because that's totally bullcrap. It comes out in practice too. So seeing what I saw today from the Detroit Lions and seeing what I was, seeing from some of the players on the sidelines that were, on the ones that were just pissed off that they were not playing up to their level of play that they expect themselves to play, it tells me this Detroit Lions team is real, guys. Like I've always prided myself that I never like I'm not never a homer. I just don't pride myself on that. I think it's better just to tell the truth and get it out. And if you're wrong, you're wrong, right? If you're wrong, you're wrong. Last year I had the Detroit Lions at 9 wins. There's no way in hell I'm going to tell you that the Detroit Lions are. I think they're 2 games better. They might be 3 games better. I think they're a better team than they were last year for sure. Obviously, people know that. Obviously, the hype is real and people think that, but I had to go see for myself. And what I saw today was it wasn't that their play showed me that they're a great team. Okay, the play doesn't matter. I don't care about how you play in practice. It's just it's training camp. You know, you're working on things, you're learning things, you're trying to figure out new things. You're maybe there's, you know, new ways you're gonna play the game, and you're working on things. So it doesn't matter to me. What I care about is when you have an expectation, you have an expectation of yourself, your team, and the way that you play. And when you don't match that expectation, you get a little bit frustrated, you get a little bit pissed off. And I tie this back to this because I got to interview Darren McCarty. Okay, it's on the YouTube page. And a lot of times, what all these champions that have been champions in the NHL, the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, they'll always tell you one thing: the team buys in to what the coaches are telling them. And what the coaches are telling them is the expectation is to be great every single time. Now you're not going to be great every single time, but when you're just having an okay day, it's still not good enough. And that's what I saw from the Detroit Lions today. I saw that they were not happy with the way that they played. I saw that, even though it wasn't a bad day, it was still a bad day to them. And that tells me two things. When you go forward through, you're gonna have trying times in a season. It's very rare that you go through a season and there's not a losing streak. It's very rare. But when you go through a long season and there might be injuries and the expectations are still the same, like it means the world when that team has bought into the expectations and what Dan Campbell is telling them. Look, it doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter what you do. You have to have the expectations of the team, of yourself, and of what you guys are capable of. If you've ever played a sport, like if you've ever played a competitive sport, there's times where you played a game that you shouldn't have won, and you're still not happy because you didn't play the way that you expected to play. So look, I've always prided myself on, being straightly honest with you guys. I've always been like that. I don't want to be a homeboy. I don't want to be a fanboy. I don't care about that. That's stupid. And if you want that, you can go somewhere else. I don't care. This team is for real. Like this Detroit Lions team is for real. And I've given out all the reasons why. Like it's more the way that you think more than the play. Because when the way you think is going to be the way you think is the absolute main reasons for champions winning. Okay, and I'm saying champions because the way you think is the way champions win, and you see the way Hutch approaches the game. You see the way that St. Brown approaches the game. Penei Sewell approaches the game. Jared Goff approaches the game. C.J. Gardner-Johnson approaches the game. All in the locker room. When they turn on the film and they look at those guys playing, they look at those guys daily in the locker room. That is the expectation throughout the entire team. Make no bones about it. And you can go with Frank Ragnow too. You can go with Taylor Decker. The expectation is those fundamental pieces because Penei Sewell showed it today. He was he was pissed off that they weren't better. And when they got a nice run, he had a little bit of swagger back, but they were making mistakes that they just shouldn't have made, and you could see that no one on that team was happy with the effort. They were happy with the effort, but they weren't happy with the level of play that they had today, and that tells me more about the Detroit Lions than you can ever get in like a preseason game, a training camp, or nothing. That's the things that I look at. I don't look at did he make this great catch. Like, I don't care about that. I care about what does the team actually look like? What is the team's expectation of themselves? And what is the team's fundamental expectations in the locker room? And who is the pieces to the locker room that are going to give you the guidance when things are wrong, when things are not going to plan, and when things are not how they should be? Who are the guys in the locker room that are going to be like, look, we're not playing good enough? And those guys are there. unlike in years past with the Detroit Lions, those guys in the locker room are there. So, look, I've fully bought into the Detroit Lions. I think that they're going to be a really damn good team. I think this team could be. I'm preface this when I say this, but I think this team could be a Super Bowl contender. I really do. And I think when they go play the Kansas City Chiefs, I think they're going to shock everyone when they go to Kansas City on Thursday, September 7th. So, look, there's a long time before that. Hopefully, no injuries. Hopefully, you stay healthy. But the way that this team showed their expectations of themselves, that tells me everything I need to know about the Detroit Lions moving forward. And this is Between the Whistles Detroit. I'm your host, Joe Chap, and I will see you in the next video.